Hey guys, what's up? It's me again. I know it's been a minute since I made a video. Things have been crazy with work. I've just been incredibly tired and everything, but I finally got some time to sit down and record a video. And since there's no One Piece chapter this week, and I don't think there was a One Piece episode this week. If there was, I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was at work. But One Piece is probably gonna be on break probably for a little bit, depending on everything going on with the coronavirus and everything. But I still wanted to talk about it anyway because some big stuff is about to go down in the manga, especially now that Jinbei has finally joined the crew. And now I think is a very good time to talk about the crew dynamic, and particularly between the three main members of the fighter class of the Straw Hat crew. And I'm talking about Jinbei, Sanji, and Zorro. Not in any particular order, really, but in this video, I'm really gonna go over my personal opinion, who I think is the strongest of the new monster trio, because obviously out of all three of them, Luffy is the most powerful, and that's just how it's going to be. Oda has come out and stated that Luffy is always going to be at the top. So we've been really waiting for Luffy to get those, main like three big fighters on his crew, and now he finally has those with Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei. And for me, that's how I rank them, because up until this point, we haven't really seen too many strength feats for Jinbei, close up, because we do know that he was able to fight Ace to a standstill after what, I think 5 days or something like that. And, like I said, he was able to fight the future 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates to a standstill for 5 days. It took him 5 days to fight Ace until Whitebeard finally showed up and stopped the whole thing. And then it's like he was able to tank a lava fist from Akainu, so there's that. And then, just on base as a fishman, he's 10 times stronger he's 10 times as powerful as your average human being. So there's that. He also knows hockey, both observation hockey and armament hockey. So on top of that, he's a big asset to the crew because he can help Devil Fruit users if they ever get knocked into the water. And given what we've seen from Jinbei, he basically has a small degree of water bending. I'm not saying like he's gonna be able to do anything like on the degree of like what Katara could do in Avatar: The Last Airbender or anything with water or something. But it's like, let's say for example, Jinbei at some point gets an upgrade where he can keep water on his person, like Katara does in Avatar, and he keeps it in a pouch or whatever, and he uses Fishman Karate to manipulate the water so he can throw water at his opponents in high pressure waves and stuff like that. Things like that I believe would be really cool. But until we see things like that, it's really going to be hard to gauge how strong Jinbei really is, because Jinbei is at his most powerful when he's in the water, and so on land, we really need to see just how powerful Jinbei is. But I have no doubt that Jinbei, has earned his spot on the monster trio as the third strongest. I'd most definitely, absolutely, 100% believe that he is at least third Yonko Commander level, and that's nothing to snuff at. People think that being third Yonko Commander level is like, whatever, but it's like, no, like, Luffy needed help to beat Cracker. Like, that's just undeniable. That's a fact. He needed Nami's help to defeat Cracker at that point. But it's like, really, if Luffy would have gone Snake Man, he could have easily just speed blitzed the shit out of Cracker, and that would have been that. But it's like, Oda didn't do it that way. But Jinbei, easily third Yonko Commander level. Now, as for Sanji has been kind of getting screwed over a lot in during the time skip in terms of fights, and I feel like that's been a little unfair. So I think that once we finally get to Onigashima and Sanji is able to show what he's really learned over the time skip, because it's like on Fishman Island we didn't really get to see a whole lot from Sanji. We really didn't get to see a whole lot of new moves that he learned or anything like that. Let me see. Punk Hazard didn't really do much. Let me think. In terms of fighting, I mean, it's like Sanji obviously has gotten stronger, but we haven't seen any new moves or upgrades from him aside from the raid suit, which I'm gonna get to in a second. But it's like we haven't seen any new Diablo Jambe moves from Sanji necessarily or anything of that nature, which I do think he's going to showcase during the Battle of Onigashima once he breaks out the raid suit and he starts incorporating Diablo Jambe into the suit. Unless he can't, because the suit is flame resistant. But we can get into how all of that works once I get to that. But then, against Doflamingo, he was able to clash with Doflamingo briefly. And then, like, Sanji is a powerful guy. He just, like, Oda just hasn't really showcased how strong he's gotten during the time skip, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way that it's gone. But for me, what I think, and Sanji said this himself, he was going to have Franky upgrade the raid suit. Now, based on what we've seen what the raid suit can do, it's not really a combat-oriented raid suit like all the other raid suits were. Because when you look at the other raid suits, right? Reiju's raid suit augments her ability to use poison. Ichiji's raid suit augments his ability to cause explosions and whatnot. Niji's raid suit allows him to amp up his ability to use electricity. And then Yonji's raid suit allows him to basically, enhance his cyborg enhancements to, have the metal arm extend and whatnot, do all that kind of stuff. And I imagine that there's more that Yonji could do. We just haven't seen it yet. And then Judge didn't really have too many upgrades, but Sanji's raid suit is one that obviously is more suited towards stealth, which is not like, in combat the ability to turn invisible is useful, but then if you have observation haki, it's pretty easy to negate that really. And I imagine that's going to come up during the Battle of Onigashima, so that's when Sanji is going to have to start upping his speed with the boosters that he's got on his legs. But what I also think that he's done, if you go back, I can't remember the exact chapter that it was right now, but if you go back to the very beginning of the Wano arc, like right before we get to Wano and Sanji realizes he has the raid suit, Luffy and Chopper give an offhand comment about like how Sanji would be able to shoot lasers if he put on the suit. And Sanji was like, don't be ridiculous, that's stupid. We already have someone on the crew who can shoot lasers, and that's Franky. I don't need to learn how to do that. But Oda, and Oda doesn't like have characters say and do stuff like that for no reason. So I don't think that that's just going to be a random throwaway line. I really think that that's going to come back around, and Sanji's going to have asked Franky, hey, do you think you can incorporate some kind of laser technology onto this suit to give it more combat capability? And what I think Sanji probably had Franky do was like incorporate lasers onto the legs of the suit, because Sanji's primary fighting style is his kicks, his black leg style. So imagine Sanji being able to basically kick lasers just like Kizaru. So imagine later on in the series when we finally get to that battle for the One Piece, or eventually even a battle at Marijois, when we finally go up against the Marines, Sanji's gonna need to fight somebody, and I firmly believe that he is going to fight Admiral Kizaru. And Sanji, with the ability to kick lasers and basically move at light speed, which is, I would say, fairly feasible considering the fact that without the raid suit, Sanji is incredibly fast, like easily the fastest member of the Straw Hat crew next to Luffy. But with the raid suit on and those jet boosters on his suit, especially with augmentation and upgrades from Franky, that raid suit is about to make Sanji incredibly fast. Like, literally, he would be close to light speed, if not, like, now, let's not say light speed exactly, but Sanji would be pretty goddamn fast. And the fact that he would be able to turn invisible, I imagine, would probably be a problem for Kizaru. So, there's that for Sanji. Now, how I think he might be able to incorporate Diablo Jambé into that is a little bit iffy, because, like I said, the suit itself is flame resistant. So we don't exactly know if Sanji would be able to light the legs of the suit on fire while he's using it. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if that's a hindrance for him or not. Now, as to who I think that, and as a matter of fact, I'll get into that later. I was going to talk about who I think each of the monster trio are going to fight, which I think is kind of obvious at this point, but I'll get into that in a little bit. So that's all I really got for Sanji right now. We need to just see more from Sanji in the raid suit, because we know what Sanji can do without the raid suit. We just need to see more with what he can do with the raid suit. And, obviously we need to see him fight a Yonko commander, and that's obviously going to be Queen, but like I said, I'll get to that later. So now we're going to talk about Zorro, the first Yonko commander level character of the new monster trio, because let's be honest, out of all of the fighters on the Straw Hat crew, besides Luffy himself, Zorro is the strongest. Period. Bar none. That is just a fact. You can call me a fanboy, you can call me whatever you want. Zorro has literally been showcased to Zorro, he cut fucking mountains in half, for God's sake. Like, literally no other character on the Straw Hat crew has a feat that is even anywhere near close to that. That's just a fact. Not even Sanji, not even Jinbei. That's just a fact. Gotta call it like I see it. And it's like, Zorro didn't have to put that much effort into doing that anyway. He just needed to get close enough to Pika to cut him up. And that was that. And then when he got Pika out of his stone body, it was literally one shot, hockeyed up blades, Pika went down, you know? So it's like, Zorro is going to need a challenge when he gets onto Onigashima, and I think that's specifically why Oda decided to give him Enma, and I'm going to actually make another video about Zorro using Enma and what that's going to lead to later on in the series, in the Battle of Onigashima, actually, but we'll get into that in a different video. But as for Zorro, Zorro is bar none the strongest member of the monster trio, and he's going to be the one that really leads the charge in this battle, while Luffy is going to go fight Kaito. At first, I think Zorro was going to try to go with Luffy to go fight Kaito and everything, but King is obviously going to get in the way, and, you know, Zorro is going to have a little bit of trouble with King because King is a Pteranodon. He's a flying opponent, and Zorro has always had an issue with flying opponents. So, I don't know if Zorro is going to take King one-on-one, only for the simple fact that, you know, like I said, King is a flying opponent, and while Zorro does have flying sword slashes, you know, King as a Pteranodon. Pteranodons are incredibly fast, especially from what we've seen from King, so that's going to be an interesting fight in of itself. So let me see what else. You know, with Luffy, there's really not much else to say. Obviously, once we see him actually showcase his ability to use Ryo and, you know, do his fight against Kaito. Sorry, that was my phone going off. You know, once we see his ability to use Ryo and his fight with Kaito, we're going to obviously see just how far he's able to jump in power in just, I'd say, it's been about a month at most that he's been locked up in prison. So he's just been in prison non-stop training and just trying to perfect this ability. Well, he hasn't perfected it or mastered it per se, but he's got the basics down, you know. And so it's like he's basically mastered basic armament hockey, and now he's got the basics down for advanced armament hockey. So once Luffy gets the gist of it a little more, he's gonna start piling on the damage onto Kaito, and it's gonna be glorious, and I can't wait. So really, I don't really have much else to say in terms of what I think is going to happen. Like when we get to Onigashima, Kaito is gonna want to fight Luffy because that's just how it's going to be. All of the supernovas I believe are gonna get a chance to take a shot at Kaito. Like, of course Zorro is he's got the one sword that's ever harmed Kaito, so obviously that's gonna have to play a role in it. But I think once Zorro achieves that, once Zorro comes in and possibly, you know, reopens the wound that Kaito has right there, and Kaito's just gonna keep on fighting anyway, because, you know, because think about it, during Marineford, Whitebeard got stabbed and had holes blown in him multiple times, and the guy was still running around gurring and destroying shit. So it's like, Kaito, if he gets that one wound reopened, he's not gonna stop fighting, and this time there's not gonna be some old witch to get in the way. This time he's just gonna keep fighting no matter what happens. So that's gonna be interesting to see. But I think that once that happens, something's gonna happen to Zorro. Like, Zorro's gonna get knocked or flung away somehow, some way, and Zorro's gonna get not knocked out, but he's gonna get knocked away from Kaito to where, you know, Enma isn't a problem, and then, you know, everyone else is just gonna have to pile on the damage to that one gaping weak spot on Kaito. And then, you know, later on after that, that's when I think that Zorro and King are gonna start having their big fight a lot more. And then Sanji's gonna fight Queen. With Queen, that's gonna be interesting because Queen uses gas weapons and stuff like that, and he's a Brachiosaur. So, you know, and this also kind of is probably all gonna circle back around to the Sanji and Zorro rivalry thing back on Little Garden when they were hunting dinosaurs and they both kill a dinosaur and they're both trying to figure out which dinosaur was bigger. That's gonna be hilarious when we finally have King and Queen beaten, and Zorro and Sanji are trying to figure out, well, which dinosaur is bigger, or which one was stronger. Well, the guy that I fought was stronger because he could fly. Well, the guy that I fought was stronger because he used gas, and that's gonna be hilarious. That's gonna be all types of funny. So let me see, and then Jinbei versus Jack. That's gonna be interesting because Jack has a lot of people that want to fight him. I think at one point Zorro said he wanted to go up against him, but I don't think that that's going to happen now since King is a thing. Let me see. All of the minks want a shot at Jack, so I believe that Wanda, Carrot, Nekamamushi, Inuarashi, and Jinbei are going to be the 5 characters that are going to be they're going to be taking care of Jack, because Jack is a problem. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen with that. Really, it's really hard to predict what Oda is going to do, so it's really hard to say and speculate what is and what isn't going to happen, because there are so many, random thoughts that I got going through my head of what could happen, oh, maybe Zorro and Sanji might team up against King and Queen. Some of these fights might not be one-on-ones, they might be team-up fights, because, I think at this point in One Piece, I think we're past the point of, some of the fights being straight-up one-on-one fights. So, I think that for some of these fights on Onigashima, they're going to be team-up fights, but then, the really big fights that matter and that are more personal for certain characters are going to be 1v1 fights. So, Zorro versus King, I definitely think is going to be a 1v1 fight, unless something else happens that interferes with all that. Sanji versus Queen, that could possibly be a 1v1 fight, unless other characters get involved. Jack versus basically all of the minks and everything, that's definitely not going to be a one-on-one. That's going to be, they're basically going to have to just gang up on Jack and beat the ever-living shit out of him. So that's just going to be cathartic to watch, and I can't wait to see it. As for what the other Straw Hats are going to do, just to bring them up briefly in the video, really, I don't really know, because it's they haven't really, in Wano, they haven't really set up any other characters for the Straw Hats themselves to fight. I mean, Usopp and the others could go up against the Ono Wabanshu, because, they're characters, but they don't really seem all that powerful, you know what I mean? So I could see, Shinobu, Usopp, Nami, Robin, and all those other characters going up against the Ono Wabanshu and taking them out. And then, the Yakuza bosses take out the, Orochi's men and stuff like that. So, there are a lot of fights that are going to be coming up, and I can't wait to see them all. So, this video is already almost 18 minutes long, so I'm going to end it here. Sorry that this video took so long to come out. I promise you guys I'm going to try to come out with more videos. I just need you guys to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Stuff like that, just so I can, start to improve better. I got a friend at work who's going to start teaching me how to edit and stuff like that. I'm going to start watching more YouTube videos on how to edit stuff, and, now that I've got some more money coming in right now, thanks to the stimulus checks that everybody's getting, I'm going to be able to get better equipment and stuff like that, and things are going to start looking up. So, hopefully we can all just, survive through all this, and I hope everybody's staying safe, and, staying healthy and all that kind of stuff. It's rough times right now for everybody, but, stay safe and stay positive, and we'll all get through it together. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, stay hyped, and I'll see you later.